Here we are at a relatively new acreage out in the country that doesn't already have an existing windbreak. Successful windbreak planting starts with determining what the purpose of the windbreak is going to be, where the wind is coming from, what our soils are, and what other utilities and infrastructure we need to plan around. Are we here to simply block the wind? Are we trying to control where snow gets deposited? Are we trying to screen neighbors, noises, dust, or other chemical drift? Or are we looking to enhance wildlife habitat on the property? All these things need to be considered before we can move forward. Your local NRD forester or Nebraska Forest Service forester can help you determine how best to design your windbreak to meet these goals. Another thing we need to do is determine where the prevailing winds are coming from. In Nebraska, that typically tends to be out of the north and west. The next thing we need to look at are what the soils are on the property. Your forester or NRD representative can help you interpret the soil data that is out there for the property. The soil matters because that influences which species are best suited for the property and will have the best chances to thrive. Another thing we need to consider are what utilities or other infrastructure exist on the property so that we space the windbreak far enough away from sensitive targets. We need to think about things like septic systems, water lines, gas lines, easements on the property, and right-of-ways along roads. Another thing we need to consider is what tree species we want to plant. Dense conifers and evergreens are going to provide us more winter protection, while deciduous trees offer extended height to the windbreak and other benefits like wildlife habitat and potentially nut or other specialty products. Shrubs are also a good option to include in your windbreak as well. But a lot of this depends on how much space you have available. Spacing for a windbreak depends on the tree species used, the function of the windbreak, how many rows we're talking about, and again, how much space we have. But generally speaking, spacing for windbreaks usually run around 16 to 20 feet between trees in the row and 15 to 30 feet between the rows of the windbreak. Preparation of the planting site is essential to ensuring that the trees we plant have a great chance to survive and thrive. Young trees need to have a clear area with loose soil and no competing vegetation so that they can get established and start growing as fast as they can. We want our windbreak to grow up quick and fast so that we can reap the benefits of the windbreak as soon as possible. Where you're going to plant your windbreak, we need to have the area cleared of all vegetation. Site preparation is most effective when done in the fall. Herbicides have the best chance of killing weeds and grasses in the fall because they're pulling nutrients down into the roots and will pull that chemical down in there and maximize effectiveness of the kill. Tilling is also most effective in the fall because the freezing and thawing process throughout the winter will help break up any large clods and leave you with very loose, smooth soil that you can work with in the spring. Pre-emergent herbicide can be put down after site preparation to help prevent any new weeds and grasses from sprouting. Site prep can be done in the spring. However, we want to make sure we do that as soon as possible in the early part of the spring and not right before planting. Lastly, if planting by hand, mark out the spots for each individual tree using a measuring tape and marking paint or flags. That way you know exactly where to put your trees when it comes time to plant. The homeowner plays an important role in preparing the site for windbreak planting. This is your chance to make sure that you can provide the best foundation for the planting of your new windbreak. Contact your local NRD or Nebraska Forest Service representative for help in designing and planning your windbreak today. They can help you navigate through the process of species selection, understanding your site, and developing a plan that will help you put together a successful windbreak.